While the Iranian Constitution grants equal rights to all ethnic minorities and allows for minority languages to be used in the media and in schools, minorities do not enjoy equal rights, and the regime consistently denies their right to use their language in school. In addition, a 1985 law prohibits non-Shia ethnic minorities from fully participating in civic life. That law and its associated provisions make full access of employment, education, and other areas conditional on a devotion to the Islamic Republic and the tenets of the Shia Islam. The regime disproportionately targets minority groups, including Kurds, Arabs, Azeris, and others, for arbitrary arrest, prolonged detention, and physical abuse. These groups report political and socioeconomic discrimination, particularly in their access to economic aid, business licenses, university admissions, permission to publish books, and housing and land rights. Because of the severe religious freedom abuses, our government has designated Iran as a country of particular concern since 1999. Each year, frequently the arrest and harassment of members of religious minorities has continued following a significant increase in 2012. The government severely restricts religious freedom, and there have been reports of imprisonment, harassment, intimidation, and discrimination based on those faith beliefs. There has been continuing reports of government charging religious and ethnic minorities with, quote, enmity against God, anti-Islamic propaganda, or vague national security crimes for their religious activities. Those reportedly arrested on religious grounds face poor prison conditions and treatment, as with most prisoners of conscience. One of those imprisoned on religious grounds is Pastor Saeed Abedini, a U.S. citizen and father of two, Rebecca and Jacob, and a Christian imprisoned in Iran because of his and only because of his faith. Pastor Abedini was imprisoned by the Iranian regime nearly 1,000 days ago when members of the Revolutionary Guard pulled him off a bus, placed him then under house arrest. He later was taken away in chains to Evin prison, where he endured periods of solitary confinement, beatings, internal bleeding, death threats, and continued psychological torture, all because he would not deny his Christian faith. What was Pastor Abedini's crime? According to the court, he was a threat to the security of Iran because of his leadership role in Christian churches between 2000 and 2005. And I would note parenthetically that he was allowed to go back to build an orphanage, got the approval, and then had that all reversed, and then he was arrested. President Obama promised Pastor Abedini's son Jacob that he would do all he can to gain his father's release by the boy's birthday next month. Yesterday, Secretary of State, in answer to a question I posed, said the administration was working quietly to gain Pastor Abedini's release as soon as possible. Let's hope. Meanwhile, Iran is repeatedly cited for virtually unrelenting repression of the Baha'i community, which Iran Shiite Muslim clergy views as a heretical sect. Baha'is number about 300 to 350,000. At least 30 Baha'i remained imprisoned, and 60 were arrested in 2012. A February 2013 UN report said that in 110 Baha'is were in jail. They had said that 133 were expected to start serving jail time. Since 1979, Islamic Revolution, the regime has executed more than 200 Baha'i simply because of their faith. The regime frequently prevents many Baha'i from leaving the country, harasses them, persecutes them, and generally disregards their property rights. I would note parenthetically that when Ronald Reagan was president and was the first one to raise the issue at the presidential level, I was there at the White House when he so designated the defense of the Baha'i as a very vital, important interest of the United States and all concerned about human rights. Iranian courts offer no recourse to the monstrous violations of human rights because without independent judiciary, Iranians and foreigners tied to those courts are routinely denied fair trials, sometimes resulting in executions without due process. I'd like to now yield to Mr. Deutsch for any opening comments he might have.